Welcome to the last video on our video course of Microsoft Word. In today's video, we're going to see again some of the commands that we've seen in the previous videos so that we can create a document that is as similar as possible as a real document that you might need to create and save or print in real life. After reviewing the commands that we've seen already, we're going to see the Review tab here on Microsoft Word and how to print a document. Let's start by reviewing the command to create a filler text, which is rand. That creates a document, in this case in English, because it's the language of this file. And then the command lorem, which creates a text in Latin. Let's now review the main commands to format a text in Word. Let's start by adding a title. And let's format this by choosing one of the styles, like this one. Let's now create a bigger space between the title and the paragraphs by going here and creating a bigger spacing after the title. Here we have it now. Let's add now a subtitle in this text, like right here. Let's format this one without using one of the styles, but by using these commands in the font group. For example, let's change the color to blue. And let's underline this one. Then let's choose a different font for the subtitles. And let's make the first letter of the text bigger compared to the rest by going on Insert and clicking on Drop Cap. Let's change the formatting of this one by making it a bit smaller and changing the font to this one. And here we have it. Now let's add some graphic elements in this text. Like for example, let's add a picture right here. On the Insert tab, we go on Pictures, Stock Images, and let's choose this one, Insert. And here it is. Let's make it a little bit smaller. And change the layout option with square. Then we can also choose a style for the picture. Like for example, this one. And let's put it in the middle. Now, in this other text in Latin, let's add a table. Let's go on Insert and click on Table. And let's put this table in. Now we can choose a style for it, like for example this one. Actually, let's change it to this one instead. And maybe let's add another row. This is of course a fake table, so I have no real data to put inside of it. So I'll leave it empty because it's just to review the command to insert a table. Now let's add another text in English again. And let's add another subtitle before this text. To add the same formatting to this subtitle as the first one, we click on this one, go on Styles, and create style so that we can save the style of the subtitle. Let's call it subtitle. And save it. The name already exists, so let's go with subtitle 2. And here we have it in the styles. So now we click here and click on subtitles 2, and we have the same formatting. Now that we've done this, let's divide the text in different sections. Let's go here on Layout, Breaks, Section Breaks, Next Page, so that we can break text in different pages. And let's leave this one in the same page and go on Continuous. In the empty space we have right here, we can add a chart by going on Insert and clicking on Chart. Let's add a bar chart that we want to view like this. And here we have it. As always, it opens the Excel window to insert all the data that we want to show in the chart. In this case, we'll leave all this fake data and close the window. and we leave the chart as it is. Now that we inserted a chart as well, we can move on and go back to the Insert tab and add an header and a footer. Let's add this one that we'll call Document 1. And then let's add on the footer a date and a page number, current position, and let's go for this style. Of course, since we divided the text in different sections, if we want to change anything on this header and not the one previous, we can do it. For example, if we want to write document 2 here, we just click on link to previous. And if we change the number, it won't change here. Now let's close header and footer. Where did the chart go? Let's add it back. Now that we have formatted this text, of course there are other things that we could do, like change the color of a text or highlight it or use a list, but we don't need to review everything that we've done. We can move on to the Review tab. If we click on Editor, as you can see, it will give us an editor score and tell us if there are errors in our text. In this case, there are no spelling or grammar error, but there's some formality error, or more like a refinement, that if we click on, it will be highlighted. For example, it says that here, instead of writing 1 as a number, we could write it by letters. And we can click on this and actually change the subtitle, or click on Ignore Once, or stop checking for this. So if we click on Stop checking for this, if we write it again in this file, it won't count it as an error. In this case, let's change it, and let's go to the punctuation. Let's click on it, and as you can see, it is advising us to add a comma after this word. Again, we have the same option. We can actually change the text or ignore the error. Once we change that mistake, it will move on immediately to the next one. And now that we changed them, as you can see, it says that we have finished reviewing the editor suggestions. And now the editor score, it's 100%, so there are no mistakes inside our file. Once we've done reviewing this, we can move on to printing the document. So we click on File, go on Print, and here we have a print preview of how our file is going to be once we print it. We only had 2 pages, so they're both here. And on the left, we have some printing settings that we can change however we like. First of all, we can choose how many copies we want. In this case, I'll leave it to 1. Then here we can choose the printer. In this case, I'm going to not actually print it to paper, but save it as a PDF on my device. Then we can choose if we want to print all the pages or just the current page, or decide a specific page or section that we want to print. We can decide if we want to print it only on one side or on both sides of the paper. We can choose if we want to collate it or not. And then we can choose the file orientation. That right now it's portrait, but we can also make it landscape, and it will automatically format our document in a landscape orientation like this. But let's go back to portrait because that's how we want it. And now it moved part of the text in the next page. And if we want to go back, we just go back here and click on undo. As you can see, it will go back to how it was before. So now let's go back to print. And the next settings that we can change are the size of the print that we want. Right now it's an A4, but we can have smaller prints or bigger ones according to the print that we're using or the file that we want. And then we can choose the margins. These are the ones that we have automatically, but we can have others or customize our own margins. Finally, we can choose if we want 1 page per sheet or more pages in one sheet. And depending on what we choose, it will scale the page in order to allow more pages to be in one single sheet. Once we have decided all these settings, we can click on print, and in this case, save the file in our device. Click on save, and now we can open it as a PDF. And here we have it, just like we saw it on Microsoft Word. Now we have it in PDF. So this is it for today's video. As always, I invite you to subscribe to the channel to support us and to not miss out on the next videos.